Remember that brutal ice storm that slammed northern Michigan at the end of last winter? Well, the bill just arrived, and President Donald Trump says Michiganders should pay it in full. The repair costs? A staggering $90 million. And even though federal officials confirmed that the damage easily met the threshold for federal disaster relief, the Trump administration quietly denied Michigan's request anyway. And now, without any say in the matter, tens of thousands of Michigan families could be on the hook for thousands of dollars in new price hikes on their electric bills. This is So What Michigan, where we break down how decisions in Washington end up hitting home here in Michigan, especially when it's your wallet that's taking the damage. Here's the deal. In late March, a massive ice storm ripped across northern Michigan, coating trees, roads, and entire utility grids under several inches of heavy ice. Power poles snapped, transformers blew, miles of lines collapsed under the weight. And at the peak, tens of thousands of Michiganders were left in the dark for days. Crews said the destruction was unlike anything they'd ever seen. By the time the storm finally passed, federal assessors tallied roughly $90 million in damage to the utility infrastructure alone, nearly 5 times the threshold required to qualify for federal disaster assistance. In other words, this wasn't a routine winter storm. This was a historic hit that left huge swaths of northern Michigan's rural electric grid in desperate need of repair. And as usual in situations like this, Michigan asked FEMA for help. But what's unusual is how the Trump administration responded and what that means for Michiganders. According to new reporting from Politico, Trump's FEMA team denied Michigan's request for help repairing the electrical lines. Their letter didn't offer much of an explanation beyond a single sentence about how federal relief is not warranted, even after FEMA's own assessment team acknowledged the damage. And here's the part most Michiganders don't realize. When federal support gets pulled like this, those costs don't just disappear. They get pushed straight to our local electric cooperatives and ultimately directly to the people who depend on them. And for thousands of families, that could mean huge hikes on already high electric bills. The fallout here is massive. The 2 co-ops hit hardest by this storm, Presque Isle Electric and Gas and Great Lakes Energy, serve about 160,000 households and businesses across northern Michigan. They're nonprofits. They don't have shareholders. Every dollar they spend comes directly from the people they serve. So without federal aid, those storm costs get pushed straight to ratepayers. Governor Gretchen Whitmer's office has already warned that some families up north could see surcharges and rate hikes of $4,500 per year per household. And some residents are already feeling the early wave. Presque Isle recently added a $20 a month surcharge, and Great Lakes Energy bumped average monthly bills by $17 just to cover the interest on emergency repair loans they had to take out. Utility officials told Politico that without federal support, these co-ops could literally go broke, forcing even bigger cost increase on the people who live here. Here's where this gets even more alarming. For decades, FEMA has approved all major disaster categories after storms like this, including the one that covers damaged utilities. It's routine, it's automatic, it's how communities rebuild. But this time, the Trump administration singled out utilities and denied that category entirely. FEMA officials told Politico they can't find another modern example of this ever happening. And it's not just in Michigan. Since April, Trump has rejected at least 9 disaster requests from states across the country, even when FEMA confirmed the damage met federal standards.
The president recognizes that FEMA should not exist the way that it always has been.
So what? Well, when a president denies disaster aid for no clear reason, that cost doesn't just disappear. It gets pushed onto tens of thousands of Michigan families. And this isn't just about one storm or one region of the state. If this new FEMA playbook becomes the norm, then people living in every Michigan community, from Monroe to Marquette, could be one bad storm away from getting stuck with a bill that they can't afford. Hit follow. I'll keep breaking down the decisions in the White House that end up hitting home here in Michigan, and who actually gets stuck with the bill when they do.